Hello, and welcome to week 6 of our summer Math 081 course. Yes, we are about to start week 6, and this is only an 8-week course. So can you believe it that we are almost finished with the course? Time flies when we are having fun in Math 081. So during week 6, you're going to complete your last unit of the course, which is unit 11. So let's take a look at what we have in store during week 6. So here is the page for the week 6 overview. So again, I am happy you found your way and navigated your way to the page at the beginning of the week. This is where you will find the video that you watch for the secret bonus question to get 2 points to your exam score. But before you complete the question, let's just go over some action items for the week. So like I said, you are going to be completing unit 11, which is about volume and the Pythagorean theorem. And guess what? There's only one unit this week. We're not doubling up on units because this is the last unit. But another thing I want to draw your attention to this week while you're completing unit 11 is also to start reviewing for exam 2. So exam 2 covers units 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And in this screenshot here, you can see I've just cut and pasted the view from the More course. So there are 2 review assignments I suggest you practice with in order to prepare for exam 2. So there's one that will review the concepts from units 7 and 8, and there's another one that will review the concepts from units 9 and 11. Now, another thing I want to draw your attention to is one of your classmates, she shared with me some of her fabulous study skills to prepare for an upcoming exam. So I don't know if you guys remember back in unit 4, we did a discussion board on strategies for how to study for an exam. And one of her strategies was that she makes flashcards for upcoming exams. And we are lucky enough that she has been so nice and willing to share with us what some of her flashcards look like. And I thought it would be great for everybody to see this technique that she's using, because you might find that it's going to be helpful for you as well to make these types of flashcards as you're studying for the upcoming exam and also for the final exam during week 8 of the course. So here are some examples of her flashcards. So this is an old one. This is way back from chapter 2. But again, she told me how she's such a visual learner. And not only is it helpful for her to write concepts in her own handwriting on the flashcards, but notice how she's taken little snapshots or little pictures of the examples from the More review assignments and from the More homework. Because sometimes she said, it's too hard for me to draw them out, but it's nice for me to take a little screenshot and print out the images, and then I can annotate on top of them. So you can see she's made her own notes here about the negative and positive piece of the number line. You can see she took another little image here of expanded form back from chapter 1. And then you can see she has some more current flashcards, chapter 10, finding the area of the medium pizza versus the large pizza. So she just thought it was helpful for her to write out the word problem in her own words, but then also to have the image where she can write on top of the image and not have to construct the image or draw it by hand. And so here's another one of a composite figure where she had to find the area. So you can see she's doing the mathematical work in her own handwriting. She's showing the steps that she took to find the area and the expressions she used to find the area. But she had the figure printed out, and then she was able to write on top of the figure instead of having to draw it on her own. And what made me chuckle about this in a good way, I kind of laughed a little bit because she said she uses these flashcards as she's just kind of walking around her house, doing housework or, just talking to her family and passing, or if she has some spare minutes. She says she just whips them out and she studies them as she's, just kind of doing some mundane things around the house. So it's always staying fresh in her mind. And in addition to using the flashcards, by creating the flashcards, she is relearning the concepts. And by writing it down in her own handwriting, there's studies have been shown that when you write things in your own handwriting versus typing them, you are getting a more conceptual understanding because you're kind of paraphrasing as you go and you're putting it into your own words, whether you realize it or not. So you're doing part of that summarization. And by putting things in your own words, you're committing it to memory better and you're going to gain a better understanding of the material. So if you're thinking about making some flashcards, these would be some great models. So thank you to this student for sharing these with me so we can all benefit from this great study skill. If you're wondering how she printed these, and by no means am I suggesting anybody has to buy this for the class, so I just want to make sure you don't think I'm telling you to go out and buy this, but she said she did buy this little mini printer off of Amazon, and it works with an app in her phone. So any image you take with your phone or anything that you can basically capture on your phone screen, you can send it to this printer. You don't really need the wire because there is an app that will do it for you. It'll connect to the little printer and there's those little rolls of paper and it just spits out whatever image you have on your cell phone. But again, in no way am I telling you to go out and buy this. I'm just saying if you were interested. She said it was extremely affordable. She bought it, I think, on Amazon if you're interested. But if not, you could always just use a regular printer or you could draw the images by hand. But I just thought this was a really neat and organized way for her to study for the upcoming exam. All right, so now that we've kind of talked about that little study strategy, hopefully you're planning the time in your week to set aside time and days for you to prepare for exam 2. Make sure that you don't wait until the very last minute. All right, and speaking of exam 2, let's just kind of go over some of the guidelines. So it's going to be very similar to exam 1. You have 2.5 hours. You need Respondus Lockdown Browser in Canvas. You are allowed, though, to be using a calculator now. So as soon as we started Unit 7, a scientific calculator was allowed. So when you do your environment check for your exam, it's definitely okay if you have your calculator out on your desk. There's 40 questions. The first 30 are multiple choice, just like last time. And then the last 10 questions are open-ended. So you really want to make sure you're showing either your written work on your paper or you are typing in the expressions necessary to lead to the correct answer using the Canvas equation editor. You can also use the formula, the geometry formulas and the metric conversions sheet for exam 2. So I highly recommend you have that printed already and ready to go on your desktop for when you sit down to take the exam. And anytime you're using Pi, you can just use 3.14 on your calculator. So those are the guidelines for the quiz, or I'm sorry, not the quiz, the exam. And let's just go back to the module overview page and see if there's anything else we need. Not really. Just make sure that you have that worksheet printed out. And when I say worksheet, I mean the conversions sheet and the geometry formulas. And when you're done with this video, go back and watch the video about the volume of the this is a pool, I guess we would say. It's a rectangular prism, but it is going to be holding water. And then at the end of this video, there is another volume problem for you to complete. And when you upload it, you can get your 2 bonus points. All right, have a wonderful week. Please let me know if there's any questions. And I look forward to seeing your posts in the discussion board this week. Have a great day.